everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, January 5th, 2020. Happy New Year, Connor Newman! All of your little Christmas wishes are coming true. Mom and Dad and me make 3, plus now a mangy little street kitten makes 4. Oh, I hope they have plans to get that cat spayed and or neutered. This is CBS after all. They have to help control the pet population. Best week ever for Connor. Mom and Dad back together. Nikki makes a phone call to that insolent principal at Walnut Grove Academy. Gets Connor admitted back into school. Everything is coming up Connor. It is all working out. Did Connor use some kind of magic mind tricks from that book of magic that Adam got him that made all of these pieces come together right where he wanted them? I'm very impressed with this kid's skills. Wow. I mean, Chelsea was together with Nick on New Year's Eve evening, and then she was back together with Adam on New Year's Day. That is impressive. What a road to travel. I think we need to travel this road back together from the beginning. We got to start at the beginning on this one, because where last we left off in this story, Phyllis had given Nick this very powerful ammunition about Adam. And Nick was going to use this information in order to get Chelsea back. He was bound and determined. He was very sure of himself that he was going to use this info and win against Adam this time. But Nick waits a couple days. Then he finally tells Chelsea how Adam asked Phyllis to basically prostitute herself, in Phyllis's words, in Nick's words, to just break Nick and Chelsea up so that Adam could have Chelsea all to himself. Is that what Adam did? Is that really what happened? I must have missed the part where Adam asked Phyllis to prostitute herself. He didn't ask her to sleep with a stranger. He didn't even directly ask her to sleep with Nick. I'm not saying that Phyllis doesn't have a reason to be offended, but what Adam actually said to Phyllis was, hey, why don't you go ahead and follow your heart's desire and then try to use this as a chance to make things right. Those are Adam's actual words. I went back and looked it up because the idea of that it was prostitution on Phyllis's part was just so shocking to me. Adam knew that she was attracted to Nick, and so Adam was just selfishly and stupidly and very soap opera-ishly, by the way, he was thinking that, all right, why don't you go hook up with Nick, I'll hook up with Chelsea, and everyone's happy. It's such a soap trope that maybe it doesn't register as severe with me. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I am happy to blame Adam for all of the awful things that he's done, and there are many, but I also at the same time kind of feel like Phyllis is rewriting the story a little bit here and retelling it around town to make it a little more explicit than it actually was, and I just don't want to lose sight of what was actually said. What Phyllis was right about was the fact that Adam was not her true friend. He never was. Adam and Phyllis's friendship was all in her mind. When Chelsea finds out about Adam's plan, she at first is outraged. Chelsea goes marching over to Adam's to confront him. How dare he try to break her and Nick up? How dare he try to influence the direction of her life and her decisions? How dare he disregard her relationship with Nick so blatantly? And Adam launches into his pitch. He tells Chelsea that he was only trying to break her and Nick up because he realized that he loves Chelsea, and it has been pure torture for him to see her with another man. He professes his love for Chelsea, and she is clearly torn. Now, at this point, Nick is back at home thinking, though, that Chelsea marching over to Adam's house is going to result in her packing her bags, grabbing Connor, moving out of Adam's penthouse, and moving back in with him later that day. But that's not what happened. What happened was Chelsea took the information that both Adam and Nick had given her, and Chelsea went out and bought muffins. Lots and lots of muffins. And a party hat and a candle, and she snuck into Nick's house in the morning and tried to mist him with these muffins. She tried to mist him with muffins and birthday gifts and wonderful sentiments, all the while trying to avoid the topic of Adam. Because she had no plans of moving out. She had no plans of coming back to Nick. The only plan she had was to stay in the patterns and the cycles that she was already in. She needed to complete the loop. No, I'm not with Adam. I'm with Nick. I gotta keep working on this relationship with Nick, even if it's not really working. She tells Nick that she loves him and they are going to have all of these wonderful memories together. They have memories from the past. She even gives him a wonderful little photo frame from a good time that was had in their little relationship with their little family in 2019. And she gives him a blank photo frame with a placard that says 2020 with the implication that there will be more wonderful memories to come. But then she goes back to Adam's penthouse where Adam is waiting with cat toys and pursed lips. He again tells Chelsea with all of his charm, really bringing out all of his sexiness and all of his charm and all of his just sad bad boy-ness. He tells her that he loves her, and if she's honest with herself, that she loves him, and that them being together is what's best for everyone. She has just been denying her feelings for Adam, afraid to love him again after having lost him in the cabin explosion. And then he just comes in for the kiss. He didn't ask her permission. He just went for the kiss. And she did not immediately pull away. That kiss lasted an entire commercial break. They were kissing when we went out to commercial. They were kissing when we came back from commercial. But she came to her senses there for a minute. She pulled away and she says, no, you can't do that. We can't do this. She starts ducking and dodging the kiss and all of the questions and any of her feelings for as long as she can. She tried to flee the apartment. She was like, I gotta get out of here. This is too close for my comfort. She said, I gotta go. I gotta go to this, to Abby's New Year's Eve bash party. But surprise! Guess what? Adam has an invite to the family party too. Did anybody even remember that New Year's Eve was Nick's birthday? I don't even think that I knew that. I feel like a bad fan because I don't think I knew that. For as many New Year's Eves as we've had on this show, one a year apparently. I don't think I ever remember Nick's birthday coming up. I just must be forgetting it. But oh, what a birthday. Oh, what a birthday for Nick. I feel awful for him. He's all depressed on his birthday with nothing but muffins as far as the eye could see. Could no one just bake a cake for this guy? I know he likes these coffee house muffins, but could no one go out of their way beyond coffee house muffins? Oh. It was really, really cute, though, to see Summer and Faith hanging out with dear old depressed dad on his birthday. Summer in her adorable hat. Hats are so rare on the show. It's so noticeable when someone actually wears a hat. It was a flat rimmed hat. She was giving me sort of an 80s vibe. I was really liking it. I love Summer's fashion lately, and that was very noticeable. She's sitting there looking all cute in her hat and realizing that Nick is feeling all down. And realizing that it's probably about Chelsea. Everybody knows it. Everybody's been watching Nick mourn this relationship before it was even officially over. Phyllis came through with a decent gift for Nick, though. She gave him opening day tickets to a Brewers game. It's hard to believe that Nick doesn't have a season tickets to the Brewers game. But okay, all right, that's at least not muffins. Maybe Phyllis can go to the game with him. He needs friends. He's just looking so lonely. I mean, watching Nick, watching Chelsea on New Year's Eve at the party was heartbreak. He was just watching her the whole night, knowing that this is over. He even told Jack at the party, said, I'm not feeling great. I think I'm losing Chelsea. And the look on Jack's face was, oh, buddy, sorry. We all saw that coming like a month ago, but it's nice that you're coming to the conclusion now. No, I'm just kidding. That would have been the look on my face had Nick told me that. But, you know, I'm proud of Nick for coming to the realization that it's untenable, this situation, and for loving Chelsea enough to let her go, for just deciding to set her free. Right before the clock was going to strike midnight, Nick pulls Chelsea off to a private corner, and he tells her that he thinks she needs to just be with Adam. This is not the way that he wants things to be, but this is the way that things are, and he needs to accept that, wants to learn to accept that, and that he loves her enough to set her free to do as she wishes. And when he asked her, I love you enough to set you free, can you do that for me too? Like, I need you to set me free. And she just was shaking her head no, like, no, I don't want to accept this. But what came out of her mouth, the first words that came out of her mouth were, thank you. And then she paused and she said, "For everything you've done for me and for Connor." But the implication was, thank you. Just thank you for doing this. You're doing us both a favor here. I think that Chelsea had pretty good intentions when it came to Nick. I don't think she was trying to hurt him. I think Chelsea was working overtime to try to make both of her worlds fit together. And in that moment, when Nick was just really honest with Chelsea and really raw with her, I think he not only was releasing her from a relationship, but he was also releasing her from all of that stress and all of that juggling, so that at the very least, no matter what decision she makes in regard to Adam, she can solely focus on her son and her son's family now. Chelsea goes back to the penthouse, and Adam is sitting there all sexy and alone. And she opens the door very slowly, and she gives him this look like, "I'm here for you, baby." I am here for you. And it was a really nice, slow, tender moment. And when he was standing there with his hands in his pockets, and she reached into his pocket to pull out his hand and hold it, that was tender. That gave me some feels and some chills for Adam and Chelsea. I needed that. I needed that hand pocket moment. I was there. All the beats were there. And it seemed like they were also going to kiss, but they were interrupted by the fireworks show. And then they watched this fireworks show at the window together, and it was a very beautiful shot, a very beautiful scene. I mean, they're like glancing back at one another. Here they are at the beginning of a new year, and a new start for them. I'm glad that they didn't kiss though, because I'm not totally in love with them as a couple yet. Y&R is going to have to build this one for me. I mean, Adam and Chelsea were a huge, huge, huge super couple at one point, but we've had some time go by, and we've had a recast, and I think Y&R needs to work to make me want it a little bit. I think Y&R needs to work both of these characters independently, too. Even just seeing them at home together, and Adam was serving Chelsea a quiet breakfast as kind of like a first date, a first date of many, but of this fresh start. I thought that was a good start. Like, it was just intimate and small and normal, and it was nothing too flashy. He wasn't trying to woo her big. And they're not trying to flaunt themselves around town either. Like, I'm glad that they decided to keep it low key, like not walking around town with their hands in each other's back pockets. Just being young and in love and throwing it in Nick's face. I mean, that's going to happen eventually. It's going to be in Nick's face eventually. And that's going to be super hard on Nick, and it's going to be super hard on Chelsea. But for now, I like just seeing them at home. I like rediscovering who they are as individuals, and then seeing how that connects and develops organically as, for them as a couple. I want some time to see Adam and Chelsea blossom. I liked hearing Adam talking even just a little tiny bit about the fact that he grew up on a farm. We think of Adam as Victor Newman Jr., but he didn't know Victor for most of his life. He was this farm boy. That's so sexy. I want to hear him talking more about that. And I want to hear Chelsea talking more about her life and who she is. And frankly, I would love to get some more background information on what the hell that relationship with Calvin was all about. I never felt resolved on that, and so I think I've had trouble moving forward into getting into Chelsea and connecting with her. I just never understood it, and I want to connect with Chelsea. So just little moments like that I think would be helpful. I don't want to feel like we are just tossing couples back into their comfort zones where they should be, or where the writers feel they should be because of the past. I need to know that Adam and Chelsea are together, not because of Connor, and not just because of Nick stepping away, but I want to know that they're together because they are the true loves of each other's lives, as it should have been a year ago when Adam came back from the dead for like the third time. Jill looked great. Truly. I was really happy to see Jill. And the look on her face when she watched Chance checking out Abby. She's such a master. I could just see all of the years of experience lighting up right in Jill's eyes, right in that moment, looking at Chance. She knows what it looks like when a man wants a woman. Yes, Jill's eyes were lit up. Chance's eyes were also lit up. Pretty hardcore, pretty bright. Like a firework when Abby invited him to her family New Year's Eve party. Yes, yes. Of course they were going to be ringing in the new year together. You know who else's eyes were pretty bright at that party? Phyllis. Phyllis seems to be interested in Chance in more than one way. I almost get the impression she's got the hots for him. But Phyllis would never use her sexuality to gain anything, though. That would be like prostitute-y. So she wouldn't, she must genuinely think that he's hot and sexy and want him, because she would never like try to seduce him to get what she wanted or anything, though. Right? I don't know. I wouldn't put it past her. Maybe she likes the idea of stealing something away from Abby, the way that Abby stole the Grand Phoenix away from her. Summer has been questioning Phyllis about her intentions for Nick all week long, and on New Year's Eve, Phyllis said to Summer, look, it's a new year. I am not interested in rehashing all of these old relationships. And Summer said, oh, okay, really? So if you're not into Nick, then are you into someone new? And Phyllis just takes a sip of her martini. We see it in the foreground. And then we flash into the background and Chance is standing there. So the implication is Phyllis interested in Chance? And if you look back at the scene, even when Chance and Abby are sharing their passionate New Year's midnight kiss, Phyllis was standing in the background watching them. She was standing next to Jack, but looking at Abby and Chance. So I'm not sure if Phyllis is kind of romantically interested in Chance, or if Phyllis is just interested in revenge on Abby, or if Phyllis is just interested in revenge on Adam, or all of the above. Because Phyllis has made it very clear that she is going to get to the bottom of whatever was going on with Adam and Chance in Vegas. She wants that secret, and she is going to be poised to blow up both of those boys' brand new relationships. Chance is with Abby, Adam's with Chelsea. If this information is indeed a bombshell, and if indeed Phyllis is able to get a hold of it, she's not going to hesitate to drop it if she does get a hold of the bomb. Abby is her known rival, and with the way that Phyllis was confronting Chelsea at the New Year's party, telling her, to not be stringing Nick along, and then also talking to her about Grand Phoenix needing to step it up at the business, Phyllis is going to enjoy telling these girls exactly what their brand new boyfriends have been up to. I think it's gonna be fun. I like it. I like Phyllis right now. I also like seeing the softer side of Phyllis. I think that Y&R is doing a really good job of letting Phyllis be Phyllis, but also bringing her character back to the center. She arranged I don't know if it was pre-New Year's Eve, whatever, dinner with Jack. She went out of her way to invite Jack to dinner just to be friendly and chat with him. And I forgot almost what fantastic chemistry there is between those two. I was a big, big, big Phyllis and Jack fan. And it reminded me of that. There was this light little bit of flirting between them, but it opened up into a much deeper bonding session. I just liked it. These are the relationships that I want to see. I like seeing Phyllis being friends with Jack. I like seeing Phyllis being friendly with Nick. Phyllis burned every single bridge that she had in her 2019 rampage against the Newmans and the Abbotts. And of course, in many ways, it was very, very warranted. She had reasons to hate both families. But now here we are at the beginning of a new year, and Phyllis realizes that there are no more bridges left to burn. So she is going to have to work on building back the ones that are most important. Jill also stopped by to see Devon, and I was really glad about this. I'm glad that Jill and Devon's relationship has been repaired because Jill is a connection to Catherine, and I think Devon needs that in his life. Things had gotten really heated and uncomfortable between Jill and Devon when it was clear that Jill was taking Kane's side about the new will. And Y&R did a total fake out on the Tuesday episode, showing us at the beginning of the episode a flashback of Kane's final scene. Right in the intro, Kane's face. He was there declaring that he was going to track down Colin and return the money to its rightful owner. And let me tell you, when I saw Kane's face on my screen, my eyes got wide as saucers. I thought, oh my goodness, are we going to get a Kane update today? Nope. Just Jill informing us that Kane is still hot on Colin's trail, but he's not a professional, so it could take a while. Good thing we have a new professional in town. Chance stopped by Devon's apartment also to let him know that he's going into the PI business, and he is going to make it a top priority to find out where Colin is. He's not happy about all of this. Or is he? More and more, I am starting to think that the secret Adam and Chance are keeping is that Chance was indeed behind Catherine's fake will, that Chance was indeed trying to steal Devon's money, or that he did successfully steal Devon's money, and that Adam was helping him. And now Chance has quit his FBI job, probably number one, because he doesn't need it if he has all that money, and number two, he probably didn't want to get fired from it when it was found out what he did. If Theo's New Year's resolution is to get what he wants and eliminate what's in his way, he's gonna have to be a little more subtle about it. Asking Lola to dance? Asking a married woman to dance on New Year's Eve right in front of her husband? When the husband is not your good friend? That's pretty bold. Pretty bold. I am honestly kind of surprised that Kyle didn't confront Theo right then and there. And I'm also kind of surprised that Lola didn't get weird vibes from it. I love Lola, but I'm thinking maybe it might be about time for her to start waking up to Theo's feelings for her. At this point, everybody can see that Theo's intentions for her are a little more than friendly, and the only reason that Lola wouldn't be able to see that is if maybe she's feeling a little something more than friendly for him. Yeah. Theo. I'll tell you another thing. I was also totally Team Kyle when it came to that argument that Kyle and Theo had at Jabot. Kyle was asking Theo to make some changes to his marketing plan, and Theo was making a big fuss about having to make the changes. He was saying, you don't like this plan just because it's mine. You think Theo feels picked on by Kyle, which in many other instances, yeah, maybe, but in this instance, sorry, Theo. Kyle's the boss. And if you want to keep working at Jabot, then you're going to have to make the changes that he asks, whether you agree with them or not. That's how it works. That's how working in a corporate environment works. That's how working at any company works, unless you are the boss. You want some autonomy? Then go start a company where your name is on the door. Theo Abbott Enterprises. Try that one on for size. Yeah, I said it just to make you angry. I'm gonna start calling him Theo Abbott. Just start making you angry. Oh, Theo Vander Abbott. Yeah, that's the one. Let's call him Theo Vander Abbott. I love it. Well, and I've been thinking for a while that Kyle has been a brat toward Theo at work. But this week I realized, Theo broke Kyle's trust a long time ago. And Theo, if he truly wants to, he's going to have to earn that trust back. And Theo said that's what he wanted. If Kyle is not really ready to forgive Theo, then that's just a sign of how deep the betrayal was between them. I found it really interesting that Theo tried to bring up to Kyle the whole New York City situation again. Is Theo ever going to tell Lola about Zoe and everything that went down with that? Maybe one of these episodes, Lola's gonna skip into Jabot swinging her lunch sack, offering free food that Theo loves, free lunches for these peeps. Maybe somebody's gonna open up and tell her about what happened with Zoe and her getting plastered and them dumping her at the hospital. Does it matter anymore? Lola never found out about that. Or why is Y&R bringing that back up? Because maybe we're gonna find out that there was more going on in New York between Theo and Kyle? Something we haven't heard of yet, since the whole Zoe thing just turned out to be kind of a flop? Oh, even the day after Christmas, we were still getting Christmas stories. And my favorite by far was, Nikki finds a stable baby! Oh, poor Victor was so confused. My baby. It's a baby. What will we do with this baby, my baby? Oh. I kind of felt like Victor deserved a bigger part in that story. His mother left him on an orphanage doorstep all those years ago, and I was expecting him to talk about that. But I don't think he did. This was really more of Nikki's story. I have to pause for a moment to appreciate how adorable she looked in her little riding outfit. Oh my gosh, I didn't even care about the baby, but when she galloped into the ranch wearing her full riding gear, I was like, forget the basket. I don't care about this. Let's just look at Nikki in her cute little outfit. I loved it. Oh, yeah. She finds this baby in the stables, and then the child's been abandoned. No one knows where the mother is, but the mother eventually comes back, and Nikki talks with her, helps her get into a New Hope housing program. I was kind of surprised to even see follow-ups about this woman and her baby in the following episode. She went to the hospital. The baby had gotten sick, and she had gotten some support from Devon and Elena after they postponed their London trip to deal with this. Man. This is a bad situation that maybe didn't get the handling that it deserved. I mean, it was a cute little Christmas story. I did like it. I actually really, truly did like it. But I thought to myself, ooh, I hope Nate and Elena end up putting a tracking device on this clearly postpartum depressed woman. If she is thinking about leaving her baby in somebody's stables when the baby is at the newborn stage, just wait till she gets to potty training. Ooh. She might need some follow-up counseling. That's all I'm saying. But speaking of babies, Kevin and Chloe are going to be having one. Yay! So cute, so cute. Chloe surprises Kevin with the news that he's going to be a daddy. I mean, Kevin, we didn't even know Kevin was Bella's father until Chloe was leaving the show. He didn't have a chance to experience Bella as a baby. So I'm so happy for him. Chloe surprised him at the coffee house on Christmas after they talked a depressed Santa off the ledge. Ooh, that guy. He was not happy. I kept thinking that maybe the real reason that Santa was depressed was because Kane left the show. Maybe he missed his candy cane. I thought, well, I mean, if Santa's depressed, maybe it could be about candy cane. I mean, that's like the reason for 90% of my depression right now. I was really happy for Kevin and Chloe, though. I'd love to see more of them in 2020. I hope we get the full experience. We haven't even had a baby on the show in a while. And it was nice just to get a better sense of the Baldwin Fisher family. The dynamic between Michael and Kevin is still so rich and so cool. And Kevin and Chloe call the family together to make their big announcement. And Michael has this massive hangover. He was being a real grouch. He could not wait to get out of there. And they wanted to tell the family their big news, but everyone, one by one, seemed to have other announcements that they wanted to make. The biggest announcement of all, though, was the revelation that Esther has been using a dating app. Oh, look out, world. Esther is on the prowl. Oh, I cringe a little bit to even think about it, but I'm happy for her. I want Esther to be happy. I want her to find a good man. I just hope that she has all of her inheritance money put away in a trust somewhere. She needs to have her money tucked away and untouchable because Esther does not have the greatest history of judgment, good judgment when it comes to men. I mean, isn't that part of Chloe/Katie's origin story? On Christmas, we also had Mariah and Tessa becoming Victor's little elves, helping to deliver a lost bag of Newman Enterprises gifts to the Children's Hospital on Christmas Day. Oh, I hope somebody got fired over that whole snafu, leaving a bag of gifts for poor little sick children, leaving them at a high-class restaurant, forgetting about them, not delivering toys to sick children on Christmas Day. I hope Victoria, fired whoever it was that left that bag there. I hope Victoria handed them a box and pushed them out of Newman Tower, out into the snowy streets on Christmas Day. Kicked them right out on their rear. Thank goodness Newman Enterprises had those big red logo emblazoned Santa sacks, or Mariah and Tessa and lonely Theo never would have been able to solve that Christmas mystery. Oh, and let us not forget those tender moments between Adam and Chelsea as Connor rescues a little lost kitten from the cold. Aww, little Oliver. Maybe Connor should open up a pet shop like I suggested in my list of ideas that Y&R should pursue. The show needs more kittens, that's all I'm saying. The look on Adam's face, probably similar to what the look on my face would be when Connor asked to keep that tabby street cat. Sure, son. I would love to turn my $1 million penthouse into a scratching post. Anything for you, son. I gotta give props to Adam. He jumped right on board with the cat. He went out, he bought cat food, he bought some springy things, he even bought that little feathered toy thing. He was holding that little feather thing in Chelsea's direction, like he was hoping he could lure her over to come bat at it. Here, Chelsea, 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 Chelsea! Billy did open up a little bit to Victoria this week, but that did not go so well. Billy tries to launch into his poor, screwed up me routine. And Victoria launches into her cheerleader routine. Just two different approaches, two different personalities, two different mindsets in that moment. From Billy's perspective, he thinks that Victoria wasn't really listening to what he was saying, so why bother trying? He thinks that Victoria does not want really to hear the truth about his insecurities and his fears. But for the life of me, I just can't find a way to blame Victoria for what she doesn't know. Billy has this river, a raging river of emotions that's going on just beneath his surface. And to Victoria, he only lets out a few drops. How is she supposed to know how deep and wide that river flows? Victoria said to Billy pretty much the same thing, honestly, that I think I would say to Billy. These are just your insecurities. You're good. Don't worry. I love you. What do you need? Let's keep working together to make it better. I feel like that's what my reaction would be. Let's fix it. Tell me what you need. We'll try this, try that. That would be my reaction to what he said. And I don't know what the hell is so wrong with that. What's wrong with trying to be better? So, my question now is, if Victoria's response to him was not correct, then what does Billy want Victoria's response to be? Does he want her to say, you know what, hon, you're right. You do belong in the gutter. Maybe you should go out drinking and gambling tonight instead of going to the family New Year's Eve party with me. Is that what he wants her to say? Yeah, I think that is what he wanted her to say. I think he wants to get off the hook. He wants somebody to let him off the hook. He told her that he couldn't go to the New Year's Eve family party because he had to work, which is a total lie. I mean, that's just a lie. Because we didn't see him doing any work. I mean, instantly after he told her that, he was texting Amanda to meet for that night on New Year's Eve. This is gonna be uncomfortable. And I asked you guys last week if you think that Billy and Amanda are headed for a full-fledged affair, like with the Sexons and all. I'm shocked. 79% of you said no, you don't think an affair is going to happen? I was with the minority on this one. 21% said, yeah, it's only a matter of time before these two are knocking boots. Oh my, 79%. You guys have got a whole lot more faith in Billy than I do right now. Billy and Amanda were slinging back shots together on New Year's Eve night, talking about how comfortable and relaxed and alive they feel around each other. Both of them just casting off the expectations of their daylight life and reveling in this nightlife where they can just, be free to be whatever they want, good and bad. And Billy did make this really, really interesting comment, though, about wanting to embrace all of the parts of himself, the good and yes, the bad. And he feels like even his therapy sessions are just trying to fix him or mold him or push him forward into being only good, like pushing him into more of this perfect cookie cutterness. And he said that he feels that if that's the end goal of the therapy, then he doesn't want it. If that's the end goal of everything, then he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to be a cookie cutter. And you know what? That's legit. At the heart of it, I don't have any problem with anything that Billy said or the things that he's feeling. What I have a problem with is the fact that he downright refuses to be honest with Victoria about it. You cannot blame her for, as Amanda kind of put it generally, being too self-absorbed to notice what's going on with anybody else. Victoria has asked him ad nauseum to open up to her, and he just won't do it. And I think there was something about Amanda saying that, about people being too self-absorbed to notice what's going on with other people. Although Amanda was talking vaguely about just everyone in life being too into themselves to notice what's going on with others. But when she said it, I think he was thinking about that conversation you just had with Victoria. Like, she just doesn't notice. She's too into her life and her career to notice what's going on with me. And I think it hit a nerve. I think he realized that if he allowed himself to sink into that thought, then it was going to get real dangerous. It made him uncomfortable enough, so it seemed, that he got up and hightailed it out of there. He got out of the bar and he showed up at the New Year's Eve party to meet Victoria at the stroke of midnight. Oh man, I mean, he's in a bar with another woman while Victoria is alone on New Year's Eve waiting for him. She's just waiting for him, wanting to be with him. What more could anybody even really ask for? Honestly, there's people out there who would just they'd give their arm for someone who wants you and is willing to work with you. And that's what he already has. Some people are a bucket with a hole in it. And it don't matter how much water you put into that bucket. It's always going to run out, and you will exhaust yourself trying to fill that bucket. I think that's where Billy is right now. I mean, go ahead. Revel in your nightlife all you want, Billy. But eventually the sun is going to come up. And what do you want to see? What do you want to see when that daylight shines on your face? You want to see a drunken gambler who's failing? Or do you want to see a man who is trying to do the right thing by himself and by his family? Sharon's New Year's Eve party was a little lame. I hate to say it, but it wasn't very exciting. It was just a few hipsters in flannel and hats and one musical act. I guess Sharon's place was supposed to be the sober hotspot, the underage hotspot, and the place you go in the morning to get your coffee when you're hungover. I guess that was the point, but yeah. Tessa had just finished playing her New Year's Eve small set at the coffee house when she receives a text message from none other than the Tanner Watts. Ah! Oh my gosh! I can't even believe it! You know, Tanner Watts! You guys, the platinum music superstar Tanner Watts! Tessa tells Mariah that Tanner Watts wants to meet with her, and Mariah assumes, as did I, that it's all entirely about her music career. Like Tessa's about ready to get discovered by some big shot music biz person. But Tessa goes alone to meet with Tanner and reveals that not only did she know this guy before he became a huge superstar, but she was, wait for it, married to him. Ooh, man. It's gonna be kind of hard to explain why she failed to mention an entire marriage to Mariah. That seems like a detail she should have covered by now. Oh man, you know what though? I love this. Surprise! I love it. I love that Tessa has a secret superstar ex-husband. That is just fascinating to me, and I am just fascinated by Tessa at this point. She just has this very mysterious, very aloof Winona Ryder kind of quality about her, and her backstory is so empty, which makes it rife with possibility. I'm so intrigued by Tessa. At this point, I am more intrigued by Tessa than I am by Mariah. I feel like I've known Mariah forever. There hasn't really been much that Y&R has done to fill in more of her history in a while, in a long time. So, I don't know, I'm not entirely mad at this story. We needed something to happen for Mariah and Tessa. They've had their trouble-free life, which I've also enjoyed very much. But, you know, anything that brings them on screen, I think they need a new challenge. What worries me, though, is that this is going to end up being a final challenge. Is this the beginning of, you know, us seeing more Mariah and Tessa on screen? Or is this the end of Mariah and Tessa? That's our poll question for the week at yrchat.com. Will Mariah and Tessa's relationship survive the Tanner Watts scandal? I don't know. I feel very hopeful because I like that we're getting some. Like, we're learning more about a character. That's cool to me. And also, we're getting more Mariah and Tessa on screen. That's double cool to me. But immediately, when Tessa got that call, I got this feeling like that phone call was going to be the beginning of the end. That maybe that phone call was going to be something to pull Tessa away for good. We never see her on screen anymore. The actress is no longer on contract. And it seems clear to me that this writing team, so far, at least in 2019, had chosen not really to focus on Mariah and Tessa very much. So what if this revelation about Tessa and Tanner... What if it ends up destroying the trust that Tessa and Mariah have worked so hard to build up, forcing Tessa off onto a permanent world tour? On Friday, Sharon makes a phone call to her doctor. She has found a lump in her breast. Well, I guess it's about time. We haven't had any health scares in a few months. We haven't had any cancer stories in a long time. I think the last cancer story I can remember is Ashley, right? Ashley had breast cancer, I think. I seem to remember us going with her through the treatments and through her recovery. And, you know, I dislike medical drama. I don't like diseases because they are rarely followed through on. Nikki's MS, for instance. I mean, I guess they've done somewhat of a decent job with that one, but like Victor's epilepsy, Michael's prostate cancer, etc., etc. You know, usually they use it to play it and then it's gone, and it just not my favorite. Also, it's depressing, and Sharon's one of my favorite characters of all time. I cringe at the idea of starting off a brand new, fresh year and watching her suffer. Especially now that Sharon has just gotten her life together. She has a good man. She has completed her schooling. She's risen above. She's working in a career field that she's gifted at. And I can't tell you how much I so enjoy seeing her floating around the coffee house, serving coffee, just being social, just being Sharon. I mean, the last thing I really want to see right now is Sharon battling breast cancer. But isn't that kind of how life goes? Really? Isn't that kind of how life is? It's like right when you get good, right when you get things figured out, right when you least expect it, whammo. True. That's true. I mean, something like cancer is never going to come when you're expecting it. Oh, I just think Sharon is such a beautiful woman, and I think she's such a beautiful character, such a staple of daytime, and I think, you know, she's just such an extraordinary leading lady. All I can say is I hope that Sharon's journey, however it goes, will ultimately serve to enlighten and inspire others. I squeezed it myself! That's our Who Said It quote for the week. I squeezed it myself. That was always going to be the Who Said It quote for this week, but I felt really strongly that I should follow up Sharon's breast cancer awareness story with I squeezed it myself. That's what you gotta do, y'all. Gotta get up in there and squeeze it yourself. But I will tell you, it was not Sharon who said it. If you think you know, you should go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat, just like I am giving shout outs this week to Keisha, Jamie, Henry, Gary, Leslie, Ambreen, and Marianne V, who all guessed last week's Who Said It quote. spinning around like a deranged clown. I thought there'd be more winners on this one, because it was Michael who said this to Paul regarding their racquetball argument that they were having. Michael said, "I find it hard to listen to you spinning around like a deranged clown." So here is my virtual cotton candy going out to all of this week's winners. Congratulations. Without further ado, let's read some of your comments for the week, starting out with Robbie, who says, "Okay, they got me. When Chelsea and Adam locked eyes after Chelsea walked into the penthouse, I did a little scream." Even though it was two different actors before, I was a big fan of the Chelsea-Adam relationship, and I can't help but be excited about this reunion. Robbie, I know exactly the moment that you're talking about. I saw it too, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little excited. I started out this journey voting that I would rather see Nick and Chelsea, not feeling the chemistry between Adam and Chelsea at all. In fact, through the early part of the week, I was just thinking, I'm not into this. I mean, Nick can go ahead and break up with Chelsea, but that doesn't mean I want to see her with Adam. But the second she walked through that penthouse door, just slowly, and then she grabbed his hand, I was there. I was there in that moment. Y&R they've got the ball. I'm in and I'm watching the game now. They better not drop it. Astra says, "I have been a fan of Adam and Chelsea and eventually wanted them back together, but this seems too rushed. I liked Nick and Chelsea before her leaving town, but the writing was on the wall that they wouldn't last this time around. I feel like Chelsea should have broken up with Nick before he dropped out of the race for the candidacy for her. Now, as for Chelsea and Adam, Adam has only revealed that he wants Chelsea back in the last few weeks, and Chelsea's never shown any interest in Adam up until the last few episodes. Chelsea made Nick break up with her, and then went and flirted and held hands with Adam, and had a first date on Friday's show. Maybe they are accelerating the reunion because Chelsea will be pregnant with Nick's child, and that will cause the conflict." Well, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, about Chelsea potentially popping up pregnant. I'm feeling like that's kind of unlikely now. I was with you, Astra, because I mean, I promise you, it was probably Monday through Thursday, or Monday through Wednesday. Everything up until the point where, as Robbie said, she walked into the penthouse. I don't know. I was not feeling Adam and Chelsea. You are right. She has not indicated any interest in him. None. It's all just kind of, we're just supposed to take the plot leap. I don't think that the emotional leap is there. I don't think that she's going to end up pregnant, though. I think that this is just the writers going, yeah, fans didn't want to see him with Sharon, or we'll shove Adam and Chelsea back together. It's got to work. And, you know, to my surprise, it does work, but I 100% understand where you're coming from. I don't know what about that moment. I think it was just all in the acting. It was just all in the gifts of the talented actors that got me in that moment, because the story's not there. Hey, here's something interesting. Kamna says, "I love watching Phyllis and Adam. I hope they can salvage their friendship in 2020. They do totally see through each other as friends." Well, Kamna, my goodness, I really wish that Phyllis and Adam would have had a little something. See, this is the thing. I think, and what I'm saying about Phyllis and her, she's very hell-bent on revenge on Adam right now. And I think it's not to me, it doesn't make as much emotional sense as it does plot sense. I think these writers just wanted that rivalry. They want Phyllis to bust up and be the reason to bust up Chance and Adam's secret. It's going to potentially be the straw that breaks Chance and Abby up, Adam and Chelsea up. I mean, look, Adam was on the phone last week talking about how he's still paying somebody to keep all that quiet. Chelsea's going to start falling in love with him, and she's going to find that out, and she's going to be real unhappy. It's very classic soap, and I think it's very plot-driven. I think that Phyllis and Adam could have been really interesting as either friends or as lovers. And I think instead they just decided that they wanted to shake things up, put the couples in different places. And I just think it's all plot. But, you know, about Phyllis and Adam's friendship, I do still have to stand by the fact that I just think Phyllis wanted his friendship more than he wanted it. I think she pestered him a lot. A lot. She was hounding him down in Vegas, trying to bring him back. She was hounding him when he got back to Genoa City. I feel like Phyllis was a better friend to Adam than Adam ever was to Phyllis. I really think she imagined that connection to be there in a lot of ways. Oh, but yeah, I mean, they had good chemistry. But I feel like maybe the writers went, okay, this is good chemistry, but let's not take it in a sexual direction. Let's take it in a rivalry direction. I think these writers, they've ditched the friendship, and what they want is to make Phyllis and Adam enemies, because Phyllis needed a new enemy. They seem to think that Phyllis is at her best when she's rampaging against someone. She very clearly put to bed the Newman and Abbott rivalries of last year. I mean, for crying out loud, she was willing to go to Victor's Christmas party. She was hating Jack last year. She's breaking bread with him. They've just given her a new place to spit that fire. Spit that dragon fire. That dragon lady fire. Well, about that poll, 79% of you thinking the Billy-Amanda full-fledged affair is not going to happen. Colleen says Amanda's too smart and too cautious to sleep with Billy anytime soon. Amanda does come off as smart and cautious to me, but I also feel like I don't know enough about Amanda to gauge what I think she will or won't do. I feel like I know Billy way better than I know Amanda, and I'm seeing more of Billy and his behaviors than I am of Amanda and hers. So I just feel like I don't have enough info on Amanda to place her, but I'm feeling like Billy's intentions are not pure. I don't know. Sandra said, hey, they're actually already having an affair. Victoria asked Billy straight up during their pre-trip drinks at the Grand Phoenix, do you two know each other? And he passed over the truth by saying that they merely had seen each other in town. Ooh, Sandra. Yeah, that totally, I guess I hadn't thought about it that way when I asked this poll question last week. Are they having an affair? It's true, there are many different types of affairs. And I was specifically thinking, is this going to turn into sex? You know, are these two going to hook up? But yes, I mean, perhaps it is already an emotional affair. It's hard to say. I feel like I'm getting so much of Billy's internal dialogue and not much of Amanda's. But there was that moment also when Billy hightailed it on out of the bar and she was left alone at the bar, standing at the jukebox all alone on New Year's Eve, and she was given this look like, man, I wish he wouldn't have left. Or I don't know, I'm reading into that. I don't know what to think. I had a bad feeling that something was going to happen to her. I was really nervous because Billy said, I gotta go. Are you going to be okay? Because it's New Year's Eve. It could get kind of rowdy here. And she said, I can take care of myself. But I just had a bad feeling that maybe something bad was going to happen to her. Like this Ripley Turner guy was going to show up and harass her or something. And Billy that's probably is what's going to happen. I think Billy is going to probably end up rescuing Amanda from this Ripley Turner person. And maybe that'll bring them together, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like I'm not ready to qualify it as an affair yet, but I totally see the point that it's already going on. Wow. Daisy says, even though Billy now says he feels himself around Amanda, I don't think he actually does. I think he feels free of responsibility around her. I can see Billy's secret drinking and meetings with Amanda ending in tears. Except for Billy initially, as he'll probably go off on a yacht and travel around the world for a while, no responsibilities, and then return an entirely different person who will weep when he realizes that he's lost everything again. Yeah, I know. I that's a good point. Like, Billy wants to be free of responsibilities. Well, woo-hoo. I mean, who doesn't? Like, at this point in your life, I'm not against having fun. I'm not against finding things that fulfill you. But you've made commitments to people and to things. And you know, responsibilities aren't fun. But you follow through because you should. And if you want freedom, then you shouldn't be with Victoria and these kids, and you shouldn't have this house, and you shouldn't have a corporate job. If that's not the life you want, then your actions need to match that. He's living a double life at this point. And if he does end up just abandoning Victoria and those kids, I mean, both those kids are his, right? I think so. If he ends up just stepping away from Victoria and his kids because he wants to go off on a yacht trip, I'm going to be so disappointed in him. Although it is kind of Billy-y. I mean, at this point, we've come to accept that he's sort of this... He's always been the lovable screw-up. That's always the phrase that I've used to describe him. Although I don't find this lovable. I stopped finding it lovable a long time ago. But once again, yes, I think they could send him on sailing off around the world, bring him back as an entirely different person, also known as Billy Miller. Talk about Theo and Lola. T. Nicole says, wow, so Theo asked Lola to dance? This story is really going to start escalating. Maybe he will be making himself more clear to Lola that he wants her. She better be careful not to cross that line with Theo and stand firm in what is appropriate for friendly interactions and not get into flirty territory, even if her intentions are pure. Yes, Tina Cole, that is the thing. Her intentions may be pure, but if she is picking up on the idea that it is not pure on Theo's part, then it is her obligation to cut this off. It is not appropriate. I would never. I see, the thing is, we don't know if she would have taken his hand. That's what I would love to know. Theo reaches out his hand for a dance with Lola. Summer sees it, and then followed by Kyle. Summer rushes over there and breaks it up. For what reason, I don't know. Summer should have let that happen. But the interesting question is, what would Lola have done if Summer hadn't came in and broke that ice? I don't know. I cannot imagine agreeing to dance with my husband's known rival. If it was my husband's best friend and we were all super tight and like we had that type of relationship, maybe. But I just can't see it. If she would have taken his hand, her loyalty needs to be to Kyle. I mean, she can be friends with Theo, but her loyalty should be with Kyle. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that Theo was even as bold as he was. Because Summer pulls him aside into a dance, and he says to her, well, I'm just going to start getting what I want. I'm going to start removing whatever's in my way of me getting what I want. And we were getting this, this sort of, we've had this revamped Theo for a number of weeks now. And that was the moment where we saw that turn, didn't we? His character went, I'm going to get what I want. I've had enough of Kyle again. And, yeah. That's bold. And Summer now knows it. So Summer's in a really unique position too, because she's had these conversations with Theo where he's denied being involved with Lola, but she suspects it, or interested in Lola, sorry, but she suspects it. And Summer's in this really key position where she could tell Kyle. But will she? Skipping on over to talking about Devon, Keisha says, did Devon and Elena really cancel their holiday trip to London because of baby Joy? Was it really necessary to cancel that trip when Nate could have been there to help if needed? This pair have absolutely no direction. They spent 2 days discussing this trip and less than 5 minutes discussing how they needed to cancel. Honestly, what are they going to do with these two? Brighton and Brittany are a gorgeous pair. They're even a couple in real life. So why are these two duller than dishwater? Oh, okay, well, I agree. Canceling the trip was ridiculous. I was annoyed. Like, really? You canceled the trip for that? Okay. But I tell you, I did hear that they're a real life couple. Brighton and Brittany. They look like they should be a couple. I tried to get confirmation of that. I looked online and there was I guess there was an article on them in the hard copy issue of Soaps in Depth. And I didn't get that magazine, and I didn't see, I saw like that there's rumors that they're a couple and reference to them opening up about their relationship in Soaps in Depth, the actual magazine, but I didn't couldn't find in black and white where they've been quoted as saying they're together, but it sure looks like it. I mean, I think they're like taking vacations together on Instagram, and he was saying something like she's one of the most important people in his life next to his father or something like that. So sounds like a relationship. They certainly do look like a very nice couple. I mean, Brighton and Brittany, I think it's even spelled B-R-Y on both of their names. Brighton and Brittany. I mean, doesn't that look like a wedding invitation to you? They should be together. I see it. I love it. I love it. But yeah, you know, I was thinking earlier this week when it comes to Elena, she is feeling a little bit more of that Lily type space in Devon's life and in the Winters family. She's not a real exciting character. I mean, truth be told, Lily was not all that exciting. Lily was always just sort of beautiful and in love, and she was a moral character. She tried, for the most part, to do the right thing. Obviously, there are exceptions to that, of course, after being on the show for so long. But Lily's not real that exciting. She's maybe a little boring and bland. And yeah, Elena's just a nice girl. You know, she's not like Hillary. You know, she's not like Drusilla. I mean, there's just different personality types. I think there's room for all of these personality types on the show. I think not everyone can be the dramatic action. I think you have to have characters who are pushed upon. Not every character can do the pushing. I like Elena quite a bit, but I think the on-screen chemistry is probably not with Elena and Devon. It is probably more so with Nate and Elena. Maybe. Anna says, although I like Elena, I really think that Devon should be with Abby or someone who has an established family on the show. That way we could see him more and he could actually have a storyline. I miss the Winters and I thought that Y&R was revamping them, but now there aren't any left except for Nate and Devon. It's a shame, says Anna. I agree. I love Devon. I want more Devon. I wanted more of the Winters family. I really kind of thought that maybe Jet could step in and be a little bit of a leader for that family, and he didn't end up panning out. I really think that was the intention of the show, was to bring Jet in and build around he and Anna, and that just did not happen last year. I don't think it's going to happen, and the Winters family is a little bit aloof. I probably could have done with Devon and Abby union. I probably could have done without Chance. I'm not saying I don't like Chance now that he's here, but I probably would have gone in a different direction with all that. Yeah, I think Devon and Abby have been teased for so long. It kind of would have been perfect considering Neil and Ashley were an item. Why shouldn't their children get together? I think that would be lovely, but doesn't seem to be in the cards. I miss the Winters family, and I miss Neil. Superplex says, Victor should have said something about Neil's passing. Yeah, Victor did a New Year's Eve toast at Society at Abby's party. I don't think he mentioned Neil. You might be right. Jack mentioned Neil in his toast. Good Lord, can you believe? Can you believe Jack made a toast to Victor Newman on New Year's Eve? How things have changed. Gary says, Jack asked Victor if he's made any New Year's resolutions or if he was kind of perfect. Victor says, funny you should ask. Actually, I've made it the resolve to be nicer to you. You're kidding, Jack says. I actually am. Victor replies, that's entertainment and sparkly dialogue to make the new year bright. Yeah, I like that we still have a sense of that Victor and Jack rivalry, but it's definitely taken a milder, more quippy form. Also, how about Victor's comment to Adam at the New Year's Eve bash, where Victor tells Adam that his New Year's resolution is to keep a closer eye on his medications. Yeah. Well, last week I asked you guys to give me some predictions for 2020. Let me know what you think is going to be happening in the upcoming year. And I thought I would pluck out a couple of these comments just to read them to you. Starting out with Sandra, who predicts not that Mariah and Tessa will be broken up. Sandra predicts that Mariah and Tessa will get married this upcoming year. Yeah, so this is why I love this poll question, because it really feels like it could go either way. It really feels like they are getting ready to either be done with Tessa or maybe actually start giving this couple some more screen time. I would have guessed that they'd have got married in 2019, to be honest with you. I don't think that was on my official predictions list, but I could see it happening. If Y&R does decide to keep Tessa around, I could definitely see a marriage for these two in the cards. Lynn predicts that Elena will get pregnant in 2020, but she won't know who the daddy is. Either Devon or Nate. Ooh, that would be a scandal, a baby daddy scandal. Shakona thinks that Elena will no longer be with us by the end of 2020. Interesting. Yes, I mean, Elena's got some blank space in her story. They haven't done a whole lot to really flesh her out. She's just physically a beautiful couple with Devon. And she's a nice person, and we have a sense of her career. But yeah, I think they could fluff out Elena a lot more. And if they don't start doing that, then it could be bad news for her character. Although, I mean, if she's about getting married with Brighton James, she has a pretty big in on the show. I mean, the Y&R might want to keep a IRL soap couple to get together on screen, too. T. Nicole says she thinks Sharon and Ray will break up, and Ray will either be a part of a major story or he'll leave the show. Yes, T. Nicole, this is another good thing. Ray is so lost right now. He is always right there by Sharon's side at the coffee house when she's getting ready to do something, but not much else. Ray does not have a whole lot going on right now. He's not up in Lola's storyline. He's sort of mildly in the background with Sharon. And I don't know if Sharon's breast cancer storyline will make her and Ray stronger, or if it will cause her to pull away from him. And if she's pulling away from him, how far is he going to go? I mean, 2019, they pretty well got rid of the Rosales family. Ray and Lola were the last two standing. Lola is very much entrenched in all the drama of the show, but Ray's hanging there like a loose thread a little bit. Jamie predicts that Ray's going to find a new love in Amanda after she is publicly shamed for her affair with Billy. Ray and Amanda. I want to see Adam and Amanda. After that idea occurred to me, I thought, ooh, those two would be really good together. But Ray and Amanda, maybe. But here's one from Marianne V, because this might be hitting it. Marianne V says, after Victoria breaks up with Billy, she will turn to Ray as friends, but it will turn into something more. I think Sharon will get back together with Nick. Chelsea will stay with Adam. Abby will stay with Chance, at least until Phyllis uncovers the secret with Adam. And Jack may give Phyllis another try. Whoa, I think you might be just like completely right on all those points, Marianne V. I mean, for one thing, we had that little teaser in the Genoa City storm of 2019, the power outage, where Ray and Victoria were stuck in her office together. I mean, it is looking like Victoria and Billy's relationship is just going down the drain. It is almost as over between Victoria and Ray as it was with Nick and Chelsea for the last couple months. So we did have that little hint about Victoria and Ray. Maybe that was the writers stating their intention. And as you say, started out as friends and develop into more. I'm still kind of hoping that Ray catches Billy or something. They didn't follow. I mean, it's been a month since then. Couldn't they have had Victoria and Ray bump into each other a little bit then? They're not trying all that hard. But this is also interesting. You think Sharon's going to get back together with Nick? Isn't that funny that they had that little interaction at the coffee house on Friday where Nick was telling Sharon that he and Chelsea had broken up, and Sharon said, I can almost hear your mother now saying, oh, whatever you do, don't take up with that Sharon again. That's a little bit telling. And it's like, you know, Nick is all over town suggesting that he's not going to get involved with anybody again. Phyllis is all over town suggesting she's not going to get involved with anybody again. Maybe Sharon is going to decide that she just wants to be alone for this part of her journey and do it herself. Maybe that's the intent. I mean, once again, these writers want to pick things up where it was left off when they left the show. When Josh Griffith was writing the show the first time around, he just wants to go right back to that so that he can continue on the stories that he had in his mind a decade ago. No matter if we already been over it a million other times, it might very well be that he wants to do a Sharon, Phyllis, Nick triangle yet again. Sharon's gonna have enough to deal with. I could see Nick being there for her emotionally through this. Maybe that is it. Maybe that is it. I hope it's just a scare. I mean, obviously, who wouldn't? But yeah, this is I think maybe a really good. What do you think about Phyllis and Jack then? I mean, that meeting had to mean something. I like them as friends though too. I think that Phyllis is the love of Jack's life, but I don't think that Jack is the love of hers. Maybe we need a new woman. We need a new woman in town, perhaps. Get on that, Y&R. We've got some new men. Why don't we get some new woman? Well, I tell you, we had some really nice detailed predictions from Superplex, but specifically, I just like the idea from Superplex that Jack is going to be spending some more and more evenings with the COO, the co-COO, Lauren Fenmore. You know, I love Lauren and Michael, but we got teased on that Jack and Lauren friendship / possibly more, and it never got followed up on. I think that would be possibly interesting. Colleen predicts, these are great, that number 1, Bella gets aged up, and number 2, Connor and Christian get into trouble in the woods or around water. Ooh, like that is a proper crystal ball prediction, Colleen. I mean, I love it. Connor and Christian getting into trouble around the woods or the water. That's sort of spooky. I kind of like that idea for maybe a little bit later in the year, or who knows, maybe even this summer. That's interesting. I wonder when Y&R is going to age up Connor and Christian. You know that's going to be the little dynamic duo of the next generation, those two. And as you say, Bella fits right into that age range too. Love it. Thank you. Oh, Leslie made a comment about my Billy Miller prediction. Leslie says she thinks that Jason Thompson will still stay on the show as Billy. And if Billy Miller returns, then he would play the role of Dylan. Oh, that would be good. I would have no problem with that whatsoever. I have total ability to disconnect from the roles that the actors previously played. And they did something similar on General Hospital, right? Wasn't Billy Miller playing the role of Jason? And then they brought Steve Burton back, and wasn't there something where he played a different role, or there was something on General Hospital mixed up those two guys. So you're predicting that they're going to do the same thing on Y&R, which would be so clever. It would be so clever. But I don't think that this writing team has the nerve to do it. I think this writing team likes safe, slow stories that keep them employed. You can tell these guys don't love Y&R. They love having a job for now. They just want to keep their job. They just want to steady the ship and not get this show canceled. They are not about making big, bad, bold moves and committing to them. We've seen that since the beginning of them taking over. I mean, they should have ran with Tracy and Kane. There's a million other stories. They should have ran with Nick's campaign. They had a million little ideas that were great, and they couldn't commit to them. They just decided not to. They just pick something, commit to it. They don't do it. As I just don't think they're bold enough to do anything this clever, although I would be open to it. Well, last week I also asked you guys your top 3 soap couples. Diana said my top 3 favorite soap couples are Christine and Paul, Abby and Chance, and Chelsea and Adam. Although I did like Chelsea with Nick. I never would have thought I would pick Abby in my top 3, but I definitely find her character more interesting when she's with Chance. I love their chemistry when they're together. Yeah, I like Abby and Chance too. They are definitely making me smile. I don't have, it's not a huge plot-y story right now, so they don't end up getting a whole lot of my attention. But they get my attention when I'm watching the show. I don't have a lot to say about it, but I'm watching them. I love Chance's big old smile. I like her big old smile. They do have a really good chemistry together. Ellen says, my all-time favorite Y&R couples, Michael Mooney's Adam and Sharon. One and done. The rest can mix and match as the writers wish. Oh, Michael Mooney's Adam and Sharon, yes. It was so forbidden, right? I know. I loved that. You're right. It was very hot. Yes, yes, yes. Michael Mooney. It was too bad what happened to him. Colleen says, my all-time favorite soap couples, Ryan and Vicky from Another World. Vicky was played by Jensen Buchanan, later Judge Moxley on Y&R. I remember her. I liked her a lot. And then also Jack and Carly on As the World Turns. Carly was played by Mara West, later Diane Jenkins on Y&R. Oh yes, I quite liked her too. And then you pick Adam and Chelsea for Young and the Restless. This is a good question. Which version of the Adam and Chelsea? So Ellen goes Michael Mooney, Adam. So which, Colleen, Adam is your super pairing for Chelsea? Do you go, there's 3 at this point. Mooney, Hartley, and Grossman. Which one is the all-time Adam and Chelsea? They're very different. Even Mooney's relationship with Chelsea and Hartley's relationship with Chelsea were both very different. I gotta go Mooney. I gotta go Mooney on that one. I think I gotta go Mooney on all accounts, to be honest with you. If we're talking favorite Adams, which was not the question, but if we're talking favorite Adams, I think I gotta go Mooney. Hartley was good, but I feel pure connection to Mooney. Ambrini says, I know you're not doing a full separate year-end roundup, but could we do a little best worst of 2019 in certain categories? Oh, yes, Ambrini. I know. You know what? I think I will toss it out to you guys this week. We've done hunks, we've done ladies, we've done couples. Yes, this is a good general question. What are your best and worst stories of 2019? You can give me up to 3. I think to keep it nice. No, should I do it? No. Give me 1. Give me your top best story of 2019 and your worst story of 2019. I want to know what you guys are going to pick. Yeah, go to yrchat.com this week. Tell me what you guys are going to put in the top and the bottom spots for 2019 if you can remember it. I got to tell you, it's breaking my heart to think I am not going to be able to do the year-end affair. I woke up this morning and I was thinking about it, and I'm looking back at my notes. I got a whole outline. I've got all the categories. I got my top 3. I got my bottom 3. I got my favorite villain. I've got scandals. I've got business. I've got Neil's passing. I've got the various special episodes. I've got an outline for the 2019 year-end affair, and it just ticks me off because I'm looking back at it and I'm like, these guys you almost probably don't even remember that this happened in 2019. And I want so badly to just present that to you because, we are a world away from where we were last year at this time. And it is such a joy and such a pleasure to look back and go, whoa, I can't believe that's where we are versus where we are today. And that's part of the charm of me doing that end of year recap. And so I'm looking at the outline and I'm thinking, maybe I could still pull it off. Maybe I will save telling you my best and worsts for 2019, just on the 20% chance that I'm actually able to still pull it off. What do you think? Should I try? What if it came out in February? Would you still care? That's the thing. I think that was one of the flaws of what I did last year with the 2018 year-end affair. I was pressuring myself to get it out the last week of December, because then it's a end of year celebration, sort of a New Year's Eve kind of thing. But it really forced me to work extra hard. I mean, I was having to revise things right up until the end, because I'm trying to recap a year that we're still in. It gave me absolutely no time to put it together, so it was like in a pressure cooker of doing it. And this year, like I said, I just don't have the same availability as I did before. But I'm kind of wondering, maybe if I just do it as a podcast only, would you guys be disappointed if it was a podcast only? Just kind of, that would be something it would be a little bit easier for me to accomplish. And maybe if it came out in February, that would give me at least a little bit more time to put together. I could call it a 2019 recap instead of an end of year affair. Oh, it would be so good. I want to. But see, this is part of probably my New Year's resolutions. I am like constantly biting off more than I can chew. I see all the wonderful things that could be done here with Y&R Chat and with Y&R and all kinds of bonus stuff. And I mean, I got a million ideas, and I think in my mind, well, this should be done, and so therefore I should be able to do it. And then I'm constantly realizing that I'm only one person. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this to myself? But it's because I see the larger vision of the cool things that could be done, and I just expect myself to get it done. And I don't know, sometimes I struggle to get there. There's just only so much time in the day. But let me work. Let me think about it. Let me see if I could put some effort in this week. You tell me, would you still care about it if it was February before I got it done? Let me know. YRChat.com. Give me your best and worst stories for 2019. Let me know what you would think about a little bit of a late recap. And of course, give me your comments for the week too. Once again, I'm sure it's driving you crazy to not have my potty training update by now, and to see me on video in a different location this week. Where could I be? On the moon? Maybe. Maybe I am on the moon. Or maybe I'm in my walk-in closet. Yes, potty training is still happening. I tell you, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but we are in a much better place than we were last week. But I have decided this week that I am recording inside of my walk-in closet, so that once again I can still hear my daughter and be accessible to her when and if she needs me. But honestly, this was always the location that I had slated for this house. It sounds very lame to hear that I'm recording inside of a closet, but it is a very sizable walk-in closet. I can assure you, it is one of my happiest places on earth. This closet, although it is a closet, is spacious, and it is crammed with all of my most beautiful things. My furs are here, my soap supplies and all my lotions are here. I have finished lotions and candles and my collection of glassware, my Murano glass that I mentioned last week. I have figures and fairy houses and all of my wardrobe and shoes, and you're only seeing this very boring white background, but I've got sewing supplies, I've got all kinds of creative items. To me, this is a very happy place. Stuffed animals, art supplies, guitars, and I know you're feeling tortured because you can't see any of it. Well, you know, I like to keep it simple, because I feel like if you're looking at all my stuff in the background, then it's less about Y&R and more about me, and that's not my ultimate goal. But this is a very happy place for me. I personally, this is where I recorded the audio for last week's Y&R Chat, and I personally thought the audio quality was a little bit better. So this might be something that I end up doing a little bit more in the future. Maybe not next week, maybe not the following week, but maybe in the future. we shall see how potty training goes. I had gotten a message from Ellen M. Just a couple days ago saying she was wanting to send me a link to a video that Maya Bialik did on potty training. I thought that's very cool. And Ellen said that she's listening to Y&R Chat between midnight and 7 a.m. on a Monday while doing stock at Giant Eagle, a local grocery store. We used to have an Eagle grocery store. I don't think it was called Giant Eagle though. But oh, is it midnight where you're listening to me right now, L and M? I'll try to give a midnight voice. I love the idea. You know, I don't think about it. I just sit here and do this. And I don't think very much about where all the different locations are that people must be listening and viewing from. But that's very fascinating to me this week. I think that's very cool. And that's just one of the more reasons that I want to do more Y&R Chat stuff. I would love to make that a New Year's resolution. But I think as my daughter gets a little bit older, I'll have a little bit more free time on my hands. And maybe I'll be able to enact that plan, because I do feel very grateful that there are so many people who care about listening and watching, and maybe it makes something like, you know, doing your job go a little faster. I like listening to podcasts while I'm doing my job and my stuff. So that makes me very happy, and thank you for writing in. And anybody else who wants to write in, yrchat.com is the website. There's loads of stuff there. Hey, if you had any trouble signing up for that weekly newsletter, I think I fixed it. Anna, I know you said you were struggling with that. You're set, Anna. You should be getting that later today. But I had it's, you know, website stuff. I'm not a pro. I'm doing my best to keep it all together. But if you had any trouble signing up, go back to yrchat.com, try it again this week, and that way you can get a weekly update of everything Y&R Chat delivered to your inbox on Sunday. I think I send it out around 2:30 Central Time. That'll give you the current Y&R Chat. That'll send you a link to the poll, link to the quote, a couple of the captions from the week, the other stuff we're talking about, also the predictions. I'm only leaving up the 2020 predictions for one more week. So if you haven't got your predictions in yet, you should definitely go do that this week. I'll close it out on Saturday. So you got till next Saturday to leave me your 2020 predictions. And of course, anytime, feel free to leave me your comments. All right, you guys, I better get going. Happy New Year! I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful 2020. And I will be back next week to chat again about Y&R. I love you guys. Bye.